Heroes and Legends, Generations 4, The Holy War, Episode 26, Space Battle. Naqvi was defeated, and he took with him the dimensions. Many of the heroes and legends, both good and bad, were scattered across the universe. Those that had homeworlds in the universe returned to such places. As the Builderon troops realized that they were now back in their home planets and they had survived. Some had signaled out that this meant that they were victorious, and they cheered, but the Builderon had once again successfully survived another war, though this war cost them dearly, and along with the life of their great founder, they knew that her successor, Cookie, would make a great and able emperor. Elsewhere in the universe, many were suddenly attacked by strange alien creatures. The royals, the other banker, and even the Sharon were attacked by aliens. Some were confronted by people they have never seen before, had suddenly appeared from the sky. Many questions and mysteries were everywhere. As some were confused, some were running for their lives, some mourning the loss of others, and others rejoicing because they won the victory. Damian II, along his father Damian I, found themselves on Earth, and the two men looked up to the sky. Damian, for his own sake, had become immortal, using all the energy he had to defeat Naqvi. Damian II still had power left, but there was no need. Naqvi was now gone, and the greatest evil to all the universe was now gone as well. And the Builderon were now their allies, and they seemed to secure their rule. Damian II wondered why his father looked so glum. He said, "Father, we've won. We've won an impressive battle. The war is over. Why do you look so down?" he said. Damian felt a sick feeling in his stomach, not because the dimensions were destroyed, because he knew if everything was truly over, then all of them would have been in heaven right now. Time would have stopped and all would be well. The timeline was messed up. The mere fact that they were Earth, knowing that time should have ended, had not ended. Somehow, some way, they were all being fooled and played. But boy, was Damien correct. Suddenly, in the far reaches of space, a gigantic spaceship full of powerful lasers and cannons suddenly appeared before the outskirts of space. This big, massive ship was half the size of a galaxy, and thus it could not fit in any other galaxy. The power, engineering of the ship was not of mortal hands, but of supernatural being, of supernatural power. This ship was the result of someone's true power, someone in which you have never set foot in the universe before. But this was Naqvi. He had somehow survived, and like his reincarnation, look at him right now, knowing that he returned to the universe, he would be his full power. Now, Naqvi displayed his full might. The dimensions were too small to hold. Naqvi, full in red and golden armor, sat on his command chair in the spaceship, ready to command his forces and unleash all hell upon the entire universe at once. And then he ordered all ships to fire, and he summoned every single last troop and general that has ever lived in all time and space between the universe and dimensions to surround the ship and attack. And he said, "Go and destroy my enemies. It is time this universe known the truth. For I, Naqvi, the general of the universe, has arrived to cut you all down." and claim my rightful place as its ruler. Destroy them all. Ships, cannons, open fire. Send all my enemies down to ashes. And then the ghostly soldiers, along with the cannon fire, blasted and attacked all across the universe all at once. Soon, the celebrations of the universe across the universe turned into mourning and tears as powerful beams of light and ghostly figures were attacking and destroying infrastructure. Before the attack reached planet Urka, the capital of the Urka clan, Koki had awoken as he saw that Katrin was with him. Koki then said, "Katrin, you okay?" And Katrin's like, "Where's Damian II? I don't know. But you're safe now. Our men are rejoicing. Naqvi is gone, and the war is won, and we can be friends again." Then the two got up, and as they were about to embrace and celebrate, suddenly they felt a strong, gigantic laser, the size of a moon, was heading towards them. And Koki then quickly used his shield to try to protect Katrin and all his surrounding men, and he used up the last of his magic to do so. After the blast, the entire field was destroyed, the city in ruins, and Koki used the last of his strength. And as a result of that, he had lost his life. Koki then on his deathbed, and Katrin tried to heal him, but he was too far gone. He thanked Katrin for all she had done for them, and told her to find Damian II and go and rescue the universe. Chaos and destruction was everywhere. Ghostly soldiers were attacking, powerful lasers were blasting. At the end of the day, the Builder's infrastructure across the entire universe and all its organizations were completely destroyed. In an instant, their so-called victorious Builder was nothing more than a scrap heap of its former self. The general of the universe had made himself known, and he had single-handedly, in a blink of an eye, took in complete control as its general. Stunned that her father was still alive, she raced to find Damian II. Elsewhere, Frederick, the leader of one of the commanders in Urka, bowed, collapsed on his knees, crying bitterly in the fiery wreckage of his home world. Urka was destroyed, and with it, the hopes and dreams of the future generations of Builderon. They have lost their leadership, they lost their home worlds, and so many have lost their lives. Elsewhere, Damian the Verse was teleported in front of Naqvi's ship. Naqvi himself had got back out of his ship and used his own sword blade to deal a devastating blow to Damian himself. So Naqvi quickly sliced Damian in two. After such time, he then grabbed his sword and jerked his sword in Damian and flew a shot all around his ship at lightning speed. Then Damian struggling to keep himself together, and then the sword turned back into Naqvi's hand. Then he shook off Damian out of his sword, and after such time, then he used his final attack in his own blaster and all his ships and his remaining ghostly soldiers to blast Damian to Kingdom Come. Now, Damian, return back to your so-called God forever. Destroy him. And then the powerful attacks obliterated Damian. Damian the First was no more. Damian the Second saw all of what happened in the blink of an eye. His father was dead. Everything was destroyed. He collapsed in agony. He didn't know what to do. Now that he was the sole leader of the elders, who could stop Naqvi? Then Katrin had appeared through a portal, finally locating Damian II. The two embraced, and they couldn't believe all the hell that was approaching them. How can he still be alive? Katrin was like, she had no idea this was her father's true power. To think that he had all this power all this time, He needed to sacrifice the entire dimensions and all those that lived in it, even his own people, to accomplish such selfish desires. How pathetic. And then Damian said, "We have no time for this. We must follow and find your father. We must kill him to avenge my father, to avenge all those that died needlessly in this barbaric attack." Those that died included Laura, the leader of the Zephyr, Francine Abaco, Sakanga, Cyborg Punk, who died protecting Wade and Marcy from the laser attack. The always seen as he appeared on planet scene was quickly destroyed. Plaster Dread, Bryce Rev, Hysen, Jun Kun of the Watermans, Ido, the last and longest serving fighter in the universe who served the Urkel. Koki, of course, Koki died. Gideon Stent, Michael, Romus Guard, the Noble Anderson, Dottie, Zeppelin, Vito Sue, Kennedy Royal, Val, who died protecting her best friend Vito Royal, Harry, Maya Lukaya, who died protecting her younger sister, Kendra, Newman, who died protecting the Prime Minister, Don and Han, Sumitra, Van Fan, and Fusi, the founders of the Tropicure, Azani, who died saving his best friend from certain death, Claudia, who had died, Claudia Law, who died as she was so shocked that she found herself on the planet for the first time. All the events was too much for her heart, and she collapsed and died in the arms of her nephew, who cried bitterly for his dead aunt. And as our heroes, Damian II and Katrin, stood as only two forces left in all the universe that could possibly stop the now General of the Universe, Reign of Terror, from advancing any further, they breach into his massive ship. It's completely massive, and they will have to move in the speed of light in order to get by the ship in a reasonable time frame. And so they usher in the true powers, the powers of Katrin's mother, Olga, Katrin took, and the power that Damian had and what he had with all the elder forces that had died, including his father, to achieve such goals. And the two young people raced across the ship, defeating millions of Naqvi's men as they raced towards the ship. Elsewhere, they faced the General of the Universe forces, led by the Nici forces, who had abandoned the dimensions altogether. As their leader, Zoltan, had foreseen Naqvi's true power and decided to make themselves ready to be the new administration for the General of the Universe. And so, Damian and Katrin had no choice but to beat the last remaining loyal force, Naqvi, in order to get the General. First, they had to confront the Beast Lady herself, Brielle, who was very strong and fresh. Haha, it seems you two have suffered a lot. Why don't you just give up and surrender? I saw the General will spare your lives if you come quietly. And then Katrin was not, enough of this. I'm tired of you all. You serve my evil father. You are complicit in this corruption. There is no saving for you. There's only death. And Katrin went to fight Lady Brielle with the help of Damian II. The forces managed to get by Lady Brielle, and the Beast Lady was finally put down. Elsewhere, as they continue on the ship, getting past a couple more thousand troops, they reached the bold warrior Tang, who is willing and able to destroy them both. My might will end you lot for good, and I will be known as the strongest warrior of all time, under the General of the Universe's administration. And Damian II then clapped back and said, "You fool, there will be no administration of any generals of the universe. But we will cut him down, revenge all the blood he has in his hands." So Damian II summoned 1,000 guns, knives, and missiles to completely surround the general, this general's warrior, And Damian II said, "Let me see how much of a warrior you are, if you can handle all this." And then a great bombardment surrounded the Tang. Tang did an amazing job, dodging most, but soon he was overwhelmed. And by the time the bombardment was over, Tang collapsed, frozen and dead. And then the two young people began to race some more and confronted Hojo, Hoji, the psychic, and Naqvi's left hand. You fools. You honestly thought you could have won? You can't defeat Naqvi. Even his rebellious daughter still alive. Then I saw. I will cut you all down myself. Although my psychic abilities have no effect on you hard-headed fools. I'll just use brute strength to kill you both. So Damian and Katrin had to work together to overcome the psychic abilities of Hoji, who was levitating all kinds of stuff, weapons, and even the dead bodies of the troops that the two managed to get by to shield himself. However, Damian II then accumulated the armor of God and rings of virtue and became armored up himself and used the armor to get by Hoji's psychic abilities. Hoji cannot believe that Damian II now had the armor of God and rings of virtue. What? How could he inherit that from his father? And then Damian II then said, "Those that serve unto righteousness serve under one God and under one Spirit, and we all share this ability. Now fall!" And then Damian did a hard 360 spin and used his sword to cut Hoji down once and for all. And Hoji's shield was not enough. It split open in two. The psychic man collapsed, dead. And then Katrin said, "Come on, let's go." And then he said, "Only one more person stands in the way before the general of the universe. That man is Zoltan, the chief of the Naqvi forces." Zoltan, the new right hand of the now general of the universe, Naqvi, was a powerful man. He was an old man that walked very slowly, but he moves very quickly during battle. His powerful sword in his back, and his right hand, and his arm and his back. He fought only using one hand to show and demonstrate just how powerful he was. Zoltan only said a few words to these two. "You lot have made it this far, and even cut down my elite generals. Impressive. But can you defeat the right hand of the general of the universe? Even if you do, the universe will never be the same. Now that the Rician have made us peasants felt. The ends, as you know it, will never return. You should know this, Damian. Look at you. You have become a new man, and Lady Katrin has become a new woman. Between you two and our general of the universe, only one of you will reshape the universe in the way it must go. And I will ensure that that will be my lord." And Zoltan continued to fight and pushed back the two forces from Damian and Katrin. Katrin then mustered up her powers and used a powerful energy beam, likes of which composed of her own power and the light of her mother. Zoltan had to use both of his hands for the first time to try and block it. Then Damian II saw an opportunity. He used his shield to scoop up Zoltan and slam Zoltan to the ground. And Zoltan hit hard. And then Katrin was still using her blast. And then she blasted Zoltan and directed. He said, "Twa!" And then he evaporated and was blasted several floors down the ship. It was the end of Zoltan. After such time, the forces finally made it towards their final battle. It was the general of the universe himself. He clapped. "Bravo! Brava! Well done, youngsters. It seems the next generation will be led by you two." Of course, I, the general of the universe, would have something to say about that. "Stop your bullshit, father. Katrin said. I'm tired of you. My mother, my friends, your own people, even my new friends. You are a monster, and you need to be destroyed. That is the only way, and the only process left for me to take. You must fall, Father. Prepare yourself. Damian II now clapped back and said, your daughter is right. Naqvi, you have my father's blood in your hands. The blood of countless more. You destroyed and decimated the entire universe in an instant, and you dare claim the title of General of the Universe? The type of leader are you? You're nothing but a monster, a tyrant, and your legacy ends today. Naqvi then clapped back and said, you fools, my legacy is only just beginning. He then glanced at Katrin, who then turned her head away. Well, you see, this is the beginning of a new age, the age of the Irishans in this universe. Now it is fully complete. And now the one that will unite us all will be the one, the strongest one. And I alone am worthy of that title. Destruction or not, it will be the only way, my way of rule. Then Naqvi summoned the sword and vowed that he will destroy the next generation, if need be, in order to secure his rule. Dam, daughter, the son of Damian, show me the strength of your bond. Can you truly cut me down? And then the final epic clash was on. Katrin used her shield to shield them both and blast them away. Damian II then unleashed the rains of virtue and the full armor of God towards Naqvi, who was quite surprised to see his son had acquired such inheritance from his father. Ha! Very good, as they clashed. Come, show me more, Damian. And then Katrin used August light to try and blind Naqvi, but it was to no avail. Fool! The abilities of your mother and your vision cannot affect me. You and you alone should know this. And then Naqvi sent a blast, blasting Katrin to the wall and knocked her out. Then it was a one-on-one fight. The two men used their sword play, and Naqvi tried to attack Damian, but Damian used the shield of fate to dodge and to block Naqvi's powers and abilities. Naqvi then started to blast him with his sword beams and his powerful attacks. He then moved at lightning speed against Damian. He then still had the shield of Katrin around him. He began to break and closed his eyes and used fate to predict and to guide him to where Naqvi would attack. And so he dodged and attacked Naqvi where he had an opening. Naqvi was getting annoyed. Curse it, the god of this. The Ferric Elder Forces powers are strong here. If I don't cut you down quickly, I'm gonna have problems. You elders have turned too far and gotten in my way. Putting you at Gao, tempting you a civil war, and still you like remain. Certainly, this is a problem. And then Damian II said, you spawn of Satan, you will be destroyed, along with all the ilks of evil that ever spun up, whether by the devil's hands or by your hands. Prepare yourself, Naqvi. Your reign of terror shall end here. And then Damian II threw up the spear, threw up the shield, and the two men duked it out with swords. It was an epic sword clash. The sword beams and fighting was epic. And the two men continued on with their fight. As they continued on fighting, Katrin then woke up, and then slowly but surely is giving Damian more energy. Seeing that she cannot affect her father, she is helping Damian II grow stronger. Naqvi was in his full strength. The ship and everything else was a part of his power, and so the blasters from outside the ship came within the throne room and started to blast away at Damian. The shields were then strengthened by Katrin's power, allowing Damian to still fight on. Naqvi knew that his daughter was behind all of this. He looked, glared angrily, but instead of ending her life there and now, he just continued on until he was strong enough to break the barrier. However, Damian did not give up. Then the shield came back down. The pointing end of the shield struck Naqvi and broke Naqvi's sword, thus giving Damian his opening he needed. Then he summoned the power of the Holy Spirit and all of righteousness. His sword became a gigantic giant sword, and he used his two hands to grab the giant sword handle, and he dashed quickly for an ultimate attack. Holy matrimony. Damian slash. The attack was in honor of his father, and with the slash, Naqvi was sliced in two. The general of the universe was now defeated. He could not believe it. The Damians, along with his daughter, had overcome him, and he was defeated. As Naqvi was dying, his ship and everything around it was collapsing. Then Katrin and Damian teleported out, and Katrin used her IT abilities, and even the ability she had gotten from her father, to prevent the ship from exploding, which would definitely destroy the entire universe, and allow the ship to simply evaporate and vanish. And then the two heroes returned back to Earth in a mountain plateau somewhere. And Damian was exhausted, laying on the grasslands, and Katrin stood up looking at the sky. A tear fell down for both her father and mother. Although she hated one and loved the other, they were still both her parents. Now their powers lied inside her. Katrin then said, "Damian, it's up to us now to usher in a new age. How? What will we do? How can we lead the people beyond the path of war that they learned for so long?" Then Damian II got up and said, holding Katrin's hand, "Together, anything is possible. We've finally overcome the greatest evil the universe has ever known. And now all that's left for us to do is to rebuild. We have many new friends and possible enemies in this universe. It's only this universe now is our home. We must usher in a new age, an age in which Elder and Rishi," squeezing Katrin's hand tight when he said Rishi, "must form as one, to work together, to bring peace, an everlasting peace to all, under our rule." And then the two of them hold each other's hands and embraced. And then they both looked into the sunny, blue, clear skies as a dawn of hope of a new age was about to begin.